Okay, well, here I am. And it's Tuesday morning. It's my day for doing bees. And so even though technically I don't need to do them until tomorrow because the rain is only due on Thursday, I thought that I would nod reluctantly in the direction of schedule. Because, oh me oh my, how I wish I could do schedule. Alright, so, morning thoughts, morning focus, check in with things. Yesterday was a very busy day. I achieved some real life stuff, went and fetched medicine. I bought some extra groceries that we were missing that Callum needed. I went and took the car in and got it serviced. And then, when I'd done that, I came home, took the last of Carly's boxes in from the garage. I don't know if I told you that last night. I can't remember now. And they were the hardest. And, you know, I have this theory about the thing is always in the last place you look. Is that why it's always in the last place you look? Is because once you found it, you stop looking. So obviously it was in the last place, right? Well, the stuff that I was looking for was in the boxes yesterday. And it was too hard and was too difficult and was too awful. And the whole thing of unpacking them was, I don't know, I'm also tired of doing it now. I'm emotionally worn down and drained. But man, yeah. There was a lot of personal stuff. There was photographs and letters I'd written her that I'd thrown away. And yeah. Anyway, so it's not only that you stop looking. Sometimes it just is that the things you need turn up last. So there was one box that I haven't looked through, which was just kitchen things I could see. There was nothing mixed. It was all plates and stuff and all wrapped up in paper. So I've been through everything. I've taken the papers out of every single one, but that one I thought, no, I've had enough. I found all these photos. I've been through all this stuff. Ooh, wasp. That's not a good look. Oh, I'm happy to see that. Huh. Oh well, that's why I'm here, is to see those things. Okay, so that was my busy day yesterday. My busy morning has been even busier. Oh my word, it's been busy. Full of poetry this morning, full of poetry, research, seed scripts, narwhal, meditation, generating images, posting pictures up in the book, going to Mint Me. I think I managed to buy some stuff on Mint Me. I'm not sure if it's too much. Tried to put in some, oh glory, still learning. However, did the thing. And so, it's technically my bee day today. And so even though it's a little bit early in the day, I'm actually more comfortable doing it early in the day, I'm thinking. So, here I am. What I'm going to do is check all of them. That one of the very aggressive bees down there, I'm going to put on a top feeder so that I don't actually have to lift the frames out. That one seems to be working all right. It's got honey frames on the top, but those are the ones that last time I tried to look at them, they were so glued down with the propolis. So if I can loosen them a bit, that'll make me happy. But this one looks like it's working really well, but that I only gave a tiny amount of syrup to. So I'm pretty sure that'll need more syrup. And that one I know is weak. Although it's working. Okay, so that's my plan here. Just check them through. I'm going to leave the camera rolling and see if I can get a little bit of maybe just footage of bees and bee sounds. Just for backing tracks, for videos, you know. So nice to have bird song and bee song for backing tracks. And then after that, I have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful assignment, quest, shall we say, to go and research and maybe produce a white paper for the DMT assassins. And then my meeting this afternoon with Otto, which will just be a catch-up. We won't do any work. But I'm thinking, since Otto's so busy and he's meant to be doing the script for the recording of Dude, Where's My Wallet, I might, if I have a bit of time, try to generate a backup script just in case he's too busy because, yeah, I don't know. Well, just to have a backup. There's no... All right. Oh, there is the backup one of Satori D and Bob Dub trying to do a podcast. And Satori D saying, I'll be there in 10 minutes, I'll be there in 10 minutes. That was a fun little one to generate. But it was very sparse, and I didn't flesh it out with anybody else's projects. Okay, so I'm waffling and waffling. You know, I was thinking about earlier about how when I went to South Africa, I said to my dad, everything's too hard. I can't do anything. Nothing matters. Nothing makes any difference. Everything's just, I just can't do it. I'm just like this frozen in time and space. I know what ought to happen, and I know what I ought to be doing, and I know what's going on, you know, but I just have this sort of blank emptiness as if I just don't care. And he said, what happened? Because you weren't like that at the convent, you know, when I was at school. I said, oh, you know, life, Dad, life happened. But I thought about it a lot, you know. And the way he said it, I kind of know that he'd been thinking about it a lot, because, you know, he was also like, you weren't like that when you were at school. You weren't like that when you were at home. And then I had all these plans, you know, that would be my big pilgrimage for when I was 60, and I would come back and I'd just jumpstart my life and get on to the next phase of my life. And of course, when I came home, Callum had cancer. And we didn't know that. We hadn't had the diagnosis yet. I think it was still another sort of 6 weeks till we got the diagnosis. So I got back and I was absolutely devastated at this sort of this chaos and I don't know, I can't even really explain, but I could see that things weren't going right, you know. Everything was in disarray and things hadn't been great when I left, but when I came back I saw the things that hadn't been great, and I saw that Callum just hadn't bothered while I'd been away. He just hadn't tried. Nothing was done. Things had been dropped on the floor and had been left there for weeks, and there was mess, and it was just, and because there was no reason for it, we didn't know that he had stage 3 cancer, so I didn't know there was I just thought, well, he doesn't care, you know, he's over, he's just not interested anymore, he doesn't want a home, he doesn't want a thing, he wants to go back. Whew, that was a wasp and I nearly killed it, but it was a bee. Lucky that I paused, little bee. Lucky that I didn't kill you, little bee. Trying to kill your enemies. So when I got back, instead of doing the thing that I thought that I was going to do and have this great sort of boost and get back into life, instead of that we had cancer and chemotherapy and radiation, and the therapy and everything started in May and ended on Christmas Eve. So it was a long time, and he was really sick, and he has seen the doctor twice in his life. Up until he got cancer, he's not a people person, I think I've mentioned. Not a people person. And so had more needles and tests and nurses and measurements and interactions than he could actually bear physically. And then of course chemotherapy is no walk in the park. We had the final scan about 6 weeks ago and it was all clear. So if the cancer doesn't come back in the next 2 years, and there's no way to treat it or anything, or no way to, sorry ladies, there's no way to monitor it to see if it's coming back. One day it's not there and the next day it's there. So it's sort of living under the, you know, living next to a ticking time bomb. But if it happens that it doesn't come back in 2 years, then he goes back to having the normal life expectancy, or the normal expectancy of cancer, that somebody who hadn't had cancer. So it's 2 years now of sort of just waiting and seeing and waiting and seeing. And he's starting to get up. He's starting to get up. After the all clear, he sort of collapsed. He'd been keeping himself going all through the year. He'd been pushing himself and going to work and doing everything. And then, of course, as their thank you to him for working and not letting them down, they said, oh, well, now that you've turned 65, we don't need you anymore. And we can't keep you on because then economic times, the other people, blah, 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 blah. So they let him go. And so he can't get another job, of course. He's 65. We don't have an income except for this orchard. And it's blah, 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 long stories. So we've had 3 really bad years. We're not likely to have a good year this year because we changed pack house. And of course a new broom sweeps clean. And they've done a whole lot of pruning and fixing up and everything. And usually the year after they prune is a little bit of a lower yield until the vines come back the following season. So it's likely that we're going to have our 5th year in the row of, shall I say, no profit. So it's been intense and difficult. And all my great dreams of going to South Africa and then kick-starting my life have remained as dreams. And let your dreams be dreams. My dreams remained dreams for a while longer. And now I'm getting up and I'm sort of doing things a bit, and he's trying a bit harder. This weekend he mowed out the pack out area. I don't know if you call it mowed, raked it all over with the power rake and the tractor. And oh, Reginald loves it. Reginald's delighted that he did it. He's got dirt to roll in. He's been rolling all morning in the dirt. He didn't come down here. He wouldn't leave his dirt pile. Okay. So yeah. So life happens, you know. Gets in the way. Things. You just have to plod on. Despite the fact that life is happening willy-nilly all around you. But as we get things back together, I'm finding it interesting, noticing, as I start having less anxiety around interaction with people and having dreams. I think part of the problem for me has been that just having a dream was threatening, because I lived in an environment where that's how I was controlled. Find out what I wanted, you know? And when I say find out what I wanted, I mean in a kind of a really sick way. My darling, I want to give you what you want. What is it you really want? Well, is that what you really want? Or should we listen, you know, like, and then going on and on and on until we get to something absolutely wonderful and magnificent. And then building up this whole story about how this was going to be like that, we're going to do this, and it was going to work like that, and that you're going to go, it's going to get this, and then manufacturing an incident, often involving a prostitute, often one or many prostitutes. Some of which came home, some of which didn't. But, so yeah, I learned not to dream. I learned how dangerous it was to let anybody know any of the things that I wanted. And then, of course, oh no, you've got to get on with your life, you've got to do this, and then I tried again, and this and that didn't work out. And now I'm back in this place of dreams and dreaming. And what do I want? I think. Significant question. What do I want? You can't have something that you don't know what it is. Like, how could you? What is your dream? To die? I don't want that to be my dream. That's my inevitability. So I keep on trying to sort of explain is that it used to be that at this stage of our life we needed to calm down and be realistic and understand that death was just around the corner, and you're just 60 and you're retiring, and your lot in life is score years and 10. My dad planned his life around school years and 10, and he's lived another 20 years after that, and he hasn't had any money for it because he didn't plan for longer than his years and 10. I have not planned for any years at all. And when Callum got sick, he kept on saying how he was going to make a trust and leave things in my name so that I would be taken care of, and I didn't need to worry about anything, and I'd have a house, and blah 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 blah. And I wanted that to be true, you know. I wanted it to be true. I wanted it to be okay. Well, so then we don't need to get up, and we can just, you know. Now, we've been through all the cancer, and we've dealt with all the different issues and fears and agonies and repercussions and consequences, and I've realized that it's probably only 2 or 3 years until I'm the one sitting in that waiting room waiting to go in for my treatment. So yes, 3/4 of us have a brush with cancer. And the longer we live, the more likely it is that... Alright, ladies, well, I'm going to fill this up for you. Clean that out. I'll fill up this thing down below. Do you know that male bees do nothing their whole lives? They go for one flight, which is to mate with the queen. Then they come back and they hang out in the hive for the rest of their lives. All right, well, They can tidy up those scrapings, and they can eat this sugar syrup and put it into all these frames. And then maybe, if these frames get full, maybe I'll need to take that feeder out and just leave them with the frames. I don't see any deformed wing in this either, which is great. It means that I don't have varroa in any of these three. And I've put the strips in, so hopefully we won't get any. Alright, just got one to do, which is that one down the end where I'm going to put on a top feeder. Because I think that they have 5 frames in there of honey. So not too keen to take out 2 and put in a feeder, because you know, well, don't know if it makes any difference through winter, really, does it? It does to me. For some reason it does to me. Okay, right, I'm pleased I did that. It was a real pain having them stuck together so much. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. The problem, I think, is that I've slowed down to be virtually catatonic. My psychiatrist said, virtually catatonic. Not as bad as I used to be. It used to take me about 3 weeks to do one day's work. You know, it was terrible. It was just so like, I don't know quite what it was. I'd say insecure looking back, but significantly more complex than that. But I think, really, the main thing that I think is not giving up. You know, when you are very fragile and very vulnerable, you try something, it doesn't work out, you can't do it anymore, you give it up. But to rethink it, to adjust, and to go back and try an easier version. And then to try that, if you give up, go back, start it again, start something else, start a spin-off series, do something else. But it's the giving up. It's the giving up and saying, that was a failure, or I am a failure. And not realizing that giving up is part of the journey. You know, you go home, you stop, you sleep the night. You get in the car, you go off the next day. You go home, you sleep the night, you get up, you go off the next day. And if you have got to a place where your life is out of kilter and it's taking you 3 weeks to get through one day, then you need to be very gentle with yourself and allow yourself to be different from other people and on a different trajectory, and yet still attempting to get to, oh, I was going to say the same place. It won't be the same place, but, you know, a positive outcome for you that you enjoy and that's rewarding for your life. Yeah. So that's kind of what my scheduling is about. My schedule is about. Never stopping doing the schedule. But when it's not working and I'm not being able to stick to it, redoing it until it's something that I can stick to. Even if there's just one thing a day that you can do to say, yeah, I did that yesterday, I'm doing that today. And my goal, my joy will be when I will be able to do things at the same time every day. I just have this. There's an avocado falling out of the tree. It's funny when you walk down here, everything's quiet and there's bees, and then suddenly an avo fell out of the tree like a bomb and smashed into the ground. Okay, all right, so never giving up, redesigning, readjusting, reframing, and continuing on. And I am going to continue on with my day. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will be back again tomorrow to have another ramble. Okay, guys. See you. Thanks for joining me at the hives. It's always good to have company here. It's always good. Okay, going home. I need a cup of chai. See ya.